Right now, three very serious viral diseases are currently in the news: Ebola virus, Hantavirus, and the West Nile virus. Each can be lethal, and travel warnings need to be heeded. Our medical expert, Dr. David Winter with Baylor Scott & White, joins us right now with the facts to ease the fear a bit here. Dr. Winter, what is your advice on these diseases? I know that a lot of them are being monitored, some in our country, the Ebola virus in Africa. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, let me first talk about Ebola. The last major epidemic was 2014, 2016, lots of deaths. Then Ebola went away. It's come back the last couple of months over in Africa. In fact, in Central Africa, right here in the Republic of Congo, Sudan, and a couple of the surrounding countries, so far 600 people have come down with it. About a third of those people are expected to die. This thing comes from bats, but once it gets to the human race, it spreads rapidly from one person to the next. So far, fortunately, it's only in Africa, not in this country at all.
And hopefully it stays that way. But also, we're talking about the Hantavirus here. We know that there was little concern, I think, shown from medical professionals who are contact tracing here in the U.S. and also abroad. What's the latest on the spread of that?
Yeah, that disease started in actually Argentina, the tip of Argentina, on a cruise ship that went all the way up toward Africa. And along the way, the Hantavirus came out. They think they came from Argentina. They think they came from rats. 3 people died. Of the 150 people on that ship, they all now are being scrutinized. In fact, 18 in America quarantined because the incubation period can last 7 to 8 weeks. So far, those 18, only one is positive, and that person has minimal symptoms. But this is also can be a bad disease.
Correct. Obviously, if it grows into something that we can't control or it gets bigger than it is right now, that would be for concern. The Hantavirus, though, it does exist in our country, does it not? I mean, the wife of actor Gene Hackman, I believe, passed away from last year from the Hantavirus. I think that's why people know that and why it's in the news. Walk us through about how you would get it and how you can keep yourself from getting it if you were coming into contact with, I believe, rats is probably going to be your answer.
Yeah, Gene Hackman's wife came down with it. Supposedly she was cleaning up some rat mess in her house in New Mexico. That's where Hantavirus lives in our country, in New Mexico, Colorado. Not very many, about a dozen cases a year. Most of those are mild, but it can be serious. So be careful around rats because that's where you get it.
All right, what about West Nile virus? It's the summertime. We're going to start seeing more mosquitoes approach us. Or it's not the summertime now, but it will be very, very soon. But obviously, what kind of disease does that cause? And obviously, what should we do to protect ourselves?
Yeah, West Nile virus is wherever mosquitoes are, which is most states in this country, in fact. It starts off with headaches, sore throat, muscle aches, fever, chills, then can go on to abdominal pain, vomiting, diarrhea, then rarely causes neurological symptoms, tremors, convulsions, even paralysis. Now, most folks actually have no symptoms, but it can be bad. We get that from the mosquitoes. We don't spread it from person to person, but be careful with mosquitoes right now because that's where you get West Nile virus.
All right, so one last question here. How can we protect ourselves in these times, obviously with these virus, not necessarily always amongst us? West Nile virus is something that we always have to deal with. I know you'll probably say to wear long clothing, you wear insect repellent, try to avoid going out in the evening times. But what about just the other two? Ebola is in Africa primarily, but Hantavirus is being monitored elsewhere in the States.
Yeah, you got it. I think no one should be traveling to Central Africa right now till this thing settles down. That's a terrible disease. The Hantavirus, we don't see much of that. You know, a dozen cases a year here, but be careful around rats. In fact, if you get the aerosolized excrement, that's how we think Gene Hackman's wife got it. So be careful. If you're cleaning up rat mess, you might want to wear a mask. And of course, those mosquitoes, early morning, late evening, those mosquitoes are active. DEET insect spray, that works well. These diseases now, Matt, they're not that common, but they can be really dangerous. So be careful and beware.
All right, Dr. David Winter there. Thank you so much for your advice here on Midday. Always looking forward to our interviews with you.